Did you know that the word vampire roughly translates to ghost monster? How and in what language? Girl, I don't know. That's just what Google said. Now, we all know vampires are mythical creatures that feed on human blood. They tend to have super, not human strength, super vampire strength. They're really strong, really fast. In all honesty, I'm hoping they're real and that I've interacted with them before, but they just made me forget, the whole compelling thing and whatnot. To all the vampires out there who may be watching, if you're real, girl, come turn me. I would make the best, most badass vampire. Girl, I can keep a secret. Actually, you know what? I work in social media, so maybe that wouldn't work out. Don't come turn me. Because people would know. You'd be able to tell over time that, hey, I'm not evolving or aging, and everybody'd be like, what's the deal here? But you can still come be my bestie. Just don't kill me, I love vampires. I think my vampire obsession definitely started with the Vampire Diaries. When I tell you I made that show my entire personality in middle school, I'm serious. It was my entire personality. I love it so much. I'm a Damon girly. Damon and Klaus girly. I also watched the originals. Now that we've made it to this Twilight scene, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and you can see some vampire strength in action here, and then we'll get into the vlog. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week's video is going to be dedicated to vampires because spooky season is almost over. It's almost over. And of course, right when spooky season is coming to an end, my obsession with vampires ramps up again. Whatever. I'm reading 2 vampire books right now and I'm going to be reading them throughout this video. I'm currently reading Empire of the Vampire. Someone recommended me this book on Instagram because I said that Castlevania is one of my favorite shows, because it is. I love that show. I'll probably be watching it this weekend because I started rewatching it. It's on Netflix. It's really good. I said that I like that show, and then someone said that if you like it, you have to read this book because it very much gives those same vibes. And it does. I started it the other day. I'm 150 pages in. It has the most beautiful art all throughout it. Look at this man. That's the main character. Beautiful art all throughout it. The one with the vampires eating this person's body, this one right here, that one's really good. It's just a fantasy book, not romance, but I am reading a romance vampire book. I ended up starting Halfway to the Grave the other day. I came across this book on Amazon and the Kindle version of it was $2, so I just bought it, not knowing anything about it. And then I asked on Instagram if anybody had read it, and a lot of people said that they read it like 10 years ago, but that they really enjoyed it. This book came out in 2007, so the writing of it is very much early 2000s vibes in the best way possible. Like, you can definitely tell while you're reading it, like, oh, this was written a bit ago, but it's so freaking fun. The books only come in mass market paperback, I believe. I ended up finding the first 2 of them at Half Price Books the other day for $4 each. Cover's pretty rough. I got the first 2 of them because I just love cheesy little covers like this. Some people see covers like this and they're like, oh, so ugly, I don't even want to own the book. I don't care. I want to own it. I'm 86 pages into this book, started it last night. It's very much giving early 2000s supernatural TV show, like True Blood. It's literally giving True Blood energy. The MMC of the book, his name is Bones. I know, just ignore it. His name is Bones and he's a vampire, and he's kind of like a bounty hunter. I don't exactly know what he is yet, but he kills vampires, or he wants to kill vampires, or it's his job to kill them. I haven't gotten that far. All I know is he has vampires that he wants to kill. The FMC of this book is a half-breed. So she's half vampire, half human. Her dad's a vampire, her mom's a human. Very rare, but it happened. She hates her dad. We hate her dad. We don't even know who her dad is, but he sucks. He's the worst. So because of that hatred towards her dad, she hates vampires. And so she kills vampires, but she just kills random ones that she finds. She doesn't know if they're good vampires, if they're bad vampires. They're all bad in her brain, so she kills them. Her and Bones, at the beginning of the book, end up kind of teaming up. They end up joining forces, and he is going to use her to help him kill specific vampires. I wouldn't even call it banter. Their bitching back and forth towards each other is so funny. It has me laughing out loud. Is this a masterpiece? No. But it's funny as fuck. I don't know why, but I pulled out every single vampire book that I own, and we're going to go through them real quick because this entire video is just gonna be dedicated to vampires. I'm just gonna be yapping all weekend about vampires. I really don't read that many vampire books. I need to start reading more. There are some that I don't own that I've read, and I really liked these, but for the most part, I don't read enough. First, we have the classics. Dracula. I haven't even finished this book, which is embarrassing. I have 150 pages left of it. I need to finish it. I own 2 copies of it. I have the signature classic one, kind of like a watercolor-esque background there, and then I have this one, which I think is a special edition from Barnes & Noble, and it's really cool. I like when the pages of books, I don't know if you can see what that's like, but I like when a book has that. I need to finish this eventually. And then Immortal Dark. Were the characters of this book insufferable? Yes, but I still loved it. Dark Academia mixed with vampires. I listened to the audiobook. Own it, but listen to the audiobook for the most part. And I really liked it. I just read this like last month. Thirst. I read this book earlier this year. This is just a literary fiction book. It's not an action-packed vampire novel. It really just follows this one vampire's life over the span of years. And it is incredibly slow, but I liked it. I remember really liking it. And then From Blood and Ashes, vampires, right? I haven't read this book in 2 years, and I DNF'd the second book because the FMC of the second book was asking too many damn questions. So I don't think I will ever finish this series, but this one was actually a 5-star read for me. I loved this one. We are going to be drinking blood for dinner. I'm making tomato soup. I'm not using a recipe, I'm just gonna kind of wing it, but I'm gonna share with you what I do, and I'll let you know if it tastes good or if it tastes like ass. So maybe you should make it or maybe you shouldn't, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna start with putting tomatoes, onions, garlic with seasoning on top. Put it in the oven until it is like broiled enough, and then blend it together with coconut milk. And I'm gonna make grilled cheese, and that is my vampire-esque dinner for tonight. Put 6 tomatoes on here. I think that's gonna be enough. Honestly, if anything, I think it'll be too much. 6 tomatoes, cut them in half. 2 white onions. You could probably do whatever onion you want. I prefer white onions when it comes to cooking in soup form. And then I did 3 little bushel things of garlic. And then seasoning wise on top of this, I'm gonna put salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, and basil. And then some olive oil on top. I'm gonna do that real quick, and then we'll pop it in the oven at 375, probably for 45 minutes. TBD on the time. I don't know if this is done or not. Good morning, sunshine. Okay, I think we're just gonna go with it's good enough. Oh yeah, that's great. I left it in there for an hour. Now I'm going to blend it together with hot water and coconut milk and then get started on my grilled cheese. I always blend my soups just because that's easiest for me. I don't have any other way to like get it to soup form. I just poured a little bit of coconut milk in here, and then I'm gonna pour some hot water in here in a second and then blend it up. I don't think I might blend all of this later. Have sourdough, sharp cheddar. I was looking for American, but they didn't have any American cheese. Look at her. Perfect crispiness. That was really hot. There is something about tomato soup and grilled cheese that just will hit every single time. to walk Finn this morning, so I went to look and see if Halfway to the Grave has an audio version that I can listen to, because I'm like 55% through the book and I didn't want to stop reading, but I need to walk Phineas before it gets hot. There's a graphic...
I'm relieved, to be frank.
Relieved.
Not that. No, it applies there as well. Like a vampire.
There's a graphic audio book! There's background music and stuff.
We're territorial, every last one of us. Which is why I had such a harsh reaction when I saw Timmy gaze at you with those smitten calf eyes.
You're joking. You're joking. Okay, we're gonna listen to the graphic audio version. There's a full cast. That's what it says on the thing. Cinematic music and sound effects. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. I've never actually listened to a graphic audiobook before. I've seen them and I've heard about them. This will be my first. I'm either really gonna like this and it's gonna be quite the experience, or I'm gonna be like, stop. What's this background? Why do I hear crickets? I am fucking cackling. First off, the MMC of this has an accent, an English accent. Second, it's like laughable. It's incredibly ridiculous, but the book honestly is just incredibly ridiculous. It reminds me so much of True Blood that I love it. The background music that they put on when they're like, I love you, is crazy. Also, you're panting so loud. Say hello. I think you can see her. My screen just looks really dark back there. You could probably see her. Say hello. Say we went for a walkie. I do wish I would have read this book when I was 15. I'm eating it up now, but I just know 15-year-old me would have eaten it up even more. Also, I can't stop thinking about the fact that these two are like in love, and this is the first book in the series. How many books are in the series? There's 10 books in the series. So I cannot let myself get attached to this man. Because already, book number 5, is that a werewolf on the front? Girl, I don't know. Is Bones gonna make it the entire 10 books? The first love interest never makes it the entire time. But I love him in my own freaky little Watt potty brain way. I caved. You can stay there. You're about to see what I caved. Phineas has not been allowed on the sofa for a very, very long time. I don't know why I ended up making that decision. I apologize. I apologize for making that decision. Phineas has not been allowed on the sofa for a very long time, and as of today, she's allowed on the sofa again. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. She looks so cute on it, and also, I had a dream. This is probably why my vote for you to be allowed on the sofa swayed today. I had a dream that she died last night, and I was like, oh my gosh. Who actually gives a fuck? These are thrifted couches. Now, if I ever buy myself a new and nice couch, you're probably not going to be allowed on the sofa. But since these are really, really old and you're really, really cute, you're allowed. I finished Halfway to the Grave yesterday. I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. Okay, you've gotta go. I just felt like very indifferent about the book. Like, I had a lot of fun. I think I'm going to read the second one. It was a good read. Wasn't anything absolutely revolutionary, but if you are wanting a book with the vibes of early 2000s, I've said that over and over again, that's really all I have to say about this book, is it is very early 2000s vibes. So if you want that nostalgia while you're reading a vampire book, this should be your go-to, honestly. Reading it or listening to it, both good options. I am gonna read the second book because I did buy the second book when I was at Half Price Books the other day, and I want to see where it goes, because the relationship between the two main characters, like I was telling you guys, I was like, hey, this is a 10-book series. I don't know where it's gonna go from here. Where is it gonna go from here? They can't get together in the first book because we have 10 more books to go, and we know how that works in a fantasy series with the first love interest. Well, the way this ended, I just need to know what happens. Like, I need to know where their relationship goes from here. And that's all I'm gonna say. This was incredibly action-packed and really fast-paced. Other than like a couple scenes where I was just like, what? It was fun and it was a good read and I recommend it. I'm gonna read a little bit more of Empire of the Vampire tonight and see how far I can get into it. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. Probably not. Probably not. The main character of this book is like a half-breed vampire. You know what? The FMC of this book was a half-breed vampire. The MMC of this book, he's a half-breed vampire, and he ends up joining this kind of group and clan of almost like religious cult-esque people that take down vampires because he really has no other option. Like, his community that he was a part of, after they found out what he is and who he is, they were gonna kill him if he didn't just go join this sanction of men. There's also nuns involved in it. They kill bad vampires and wicked vampires. At the beginning of the book, it starts out with him getting caught because he killed the most prominent and strongest vampire, and then he's in prison. And that's where the book starts out at. And the entire book is him sharing his story of his life and everything that he's done up until killing this man in extreme detail. And he's sharing all this to another vampire who's writing all this information down. So this other vampire comes in his prison cell or whatever, or wherever he's locked away at, and he's like, tell me everything about you, give me all the details, as if you're telling it to a child, and give it to me in extreme detail. So this is him telling his story. Sometimes I don't love a male author. This is a male author. Sometimes the way male authors portray female characters really irks me. This author's not. The way he writes women, it's been good. It's like the bare minimum to like write a woman well. It's like the bare minimum to not demean women throughout your entire book. That's what I meant to say. Also, this book is funny. Like, it's funny. The main guy is like cracking jokes. I wonder if I highlighted one of them. He made like a your mom joke, but not a your mom. He made a joke about someone's mother. And I was like, wait, why am I laughing out loud? That was funny. It's giving me similar vibes. The humor in it is giving me similar vibes to Kings of the Wild, which I read last summer. Totally different type of fantasy book. That book just had so much humor intertwined into it that it just made you feel a little bit more connected to the characters because of that humor that was written into it. The way the humor is intertwined in this character, it's just like really blunt humor. Also, I love when there's a religious element to fantasy books. I find it really, really fascinating. I grew up Southern Baptist, so I was like deeply raised Southern Baptist. So I always find it really interesting to read fantasy books specifically with a religious element. And that's the reason why I loved Castlevania so much, or Castlevania, however you say it, because it had a religious element to it, very much an extremist religious element. And that's why I think I loved that show so much. Okay, I'm not finding any of the funny things that I was talking about, but while we're here, I can show you more of the art. He's important, but I don't know why yet. Since we are in the vampire mood, I also found a vampire playlist on Spotify. It's literally called A Vampire Playlist. I'll link this one down below. And I cannot stop listening to it. I've been listening to it all weekend long. This song in particular. Some of it is a little bit intense, which is good. If you're on like a hot girl walk, it's perfect. And then some of it is a little bit thought-provoking. Like that one in particular, when that came on my walk this morning, I was like, huh. I was channeling my inner vampire. And I was like, well, what am I gonna do for the rest of my eternal life? This man just made another your mom joke. This is what I was trying to look for earlier. Something like what I'm about to tell you. This guy says to him, up to your shins in shit every morning, eh, peasant? It'll be just like home. Because Gabriel got in trouble and he did something bad, he didn't like listen to orders. And so he has to clean shit out of the stalls every single morning. I'm to shovel dung every morn? Anyways, the man says, up to your shins in shit every morn, eh, peasant? It'll be just like home. Gabriel says, speaking of home, how's your mama? Tell her I miss her, will you? Unfortunately, I find that funny. Sometimes that kind of joke works, and then other times it really doesn't. In this setting and with these men, it works. It works. The setting of this is truly so good. Like the way it's written and is set in my brain, I just feel like I'm in this setting. This is where I feel like I am. The stakes aren't high yet. There's like a little bit of a build up, definitely some world building. And it really is just this guy's life being told. Like he's just sharing the story of his life. It's enticing and it's exciting and there's definitely action, but there's nothing at stake yet because the book started out like truly the first page, first chapter with us knowing that Gabriel kills that vampire king. So we already know that happened. So we're just reading the long story until it gets to that point. But this is a duology. So I don't actually know if it's going to come to conclusion in this book or if it's going to carry on into the second book. Or, here's what I'm thinking, it's going to come to conclusion at this book to where we started off at the beginning, where he's in the cell telling his story. And then there's going to be something else that happens in the second book. Something different. Something not in the past, but in the future. I'm hoping that's the case. I'm gonna put it away for tonight because I want to watch TV. So I'm gonna go lay in bed like a vampire and finish off my night by watching Castlevania again. Let's see what episode I'm on. I'm on season 2, episode 6. Wait, I just found out his powers. I was gonna read literally one more page to finish off this chapter. Didn't fully find out his powers, but he inflicted something on somebody. And then he goes, I wonder if the Seraph knew something of the wound I'd inflicted on blank. I'm assuming what he did means we're about to find out his powers. He's a main character. I figured he had some really cool powers. We just haven't really seen them yet. All the vampires in this book can have different types of powers. I think there's like 4 or 5 different routes or types of magical sense and control that they can have. He didn't really show anything, but I took that as a lie. Like he didn't show anything and I was like, that's bullshit. He's a main character. So I was kind of expecting it to come. It just kind of popped up. Okay, I'm gonna finish this page and then I'm gonna go watch TV.